Today we're talking about Fosi Audio and their foray into the world of turntables. That sounds like it's been delayed. We're talking about a brand new one-step from Dr. Dre. We're talking Kiss and tons more.
Channel 33, RPM, yeah, 33, RPM, Channel 33, RPM, yeah, final gear ever.
Alright, 33ers, how the heck are you doing? If I sound funny, I've had the worst cold or flu or whatever it is for today's day number 9. It's getting better though, it's getting better, but if I sound funny, that's why. First thing I want to talk about is the Fosi Audio turntable. I did an unboxing of the Fosi Luna 3 turntable back in August. At the time, it was just an unboxing. It wasn't a review, just an unboxing. I showed it on the channel, I unboxed it and plugged it in, and there were some issues with that turntable, most noticeably the motor noise. It was very loud.
I can hear some engine noise, I'm not sure, or motor noise. I'm not sure if you can make that out. It's not as quiet, say, as my Techniques.
So I contacted Fosi Audio about that, and they told me they'd sent me a pre-production model, and that noise that we heard was a known issue, and that they had fixed it. And the problem was the mounting bolts on the motor were incorrect. And they told me that they would send me the production model when it was available, and then I could review that one. That was back in August. Now we're in November, and since then several people have reached out and said, Frank, where's your review of the Fosi Audio turntable? What's going on? So I reached out to my contact at Fosi Audio this week, and they told me that it said, the email response, I'm afraid that things have changed a lot. The production of the Luna 3 has been delayed, and it's affecting the launch plan. And they said they do not have a precise date as to when that product will be launched, which I'm sure is disappointing for the company. I'm sure they wanted to get it out for Black Friday and all that, but it sounds like there are some issues going on. So I will stay tuned. As soon as they have a production model for me to review and they send it over to me, I'll definitely review it and share my thoughts on that. So for the time being, for anyone who's asked, I just don't have a production model. I did see a review on the Recordology channel of the production model, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but right from Fosi, right now, there is no release date for that turntable, so we're all gonna have to wait and see what happens. Today's video is brought to you by the Channel 33 RPM store. I keep prices as low as I can and I ship worldwide. Proceeds support this channel and help it continue to grow. Okay, before we get on to everything else, I just want to tell you I've been checking out the Dress to Kill 50th Anniversary Super Deluxe reissue from Kiss. It was their 1975 album. I don't have a physical copy to show you because the Super Deluxe box set is like $400 US, which is too much for my blood. But so I've been streaming it. Too much for my blood? Does that make sense? It's too much for me. So anyway, so I've been streaming it and I've been digging it, man. I love the outtakes and the demos. It's really cool to see what was kind of going on behind the scenes and the remixes and to hear how much acoustic guitar was actually going on that album behind the electrics. That's been really cool. And the 2 live shows were awesome. Cobo Hall 75 and Davenport, Iowa 75. And apparently those are 2 of the 4 shows used for the Alive album. So I've been digging that. And speaking of Alive, the 50th Anniversary Super Deluxe edition of Alive comes out today, November 21st. So I'll be excited to check that one out as well. Okay, one step. Let's talk about this. This is a review copy that was sent to me. This is Dr. Dre The Chronic. This is a reissue of the 1992 album, and it's the first release in a brand new vinyl series from Interscope Records called the Definitive Sound Series. And as far as I know, this may be the first hip-hop album. I was going to say the first classic hip-hop album, but the first hip-hop album, period, to get that audiophile one-step treatment. If I'm wrong, let me know. In terms of what a one-step is, it's a way of streamlining the record pressing process so that there are fewer steps from the master tape to your turntable, and that is said to result in a better, quieter, and more detailed sounding record. So let me show you this first, and I will share my thoughts on it. So it comes in this outer sleeve jacket. Comes with a certificate of authenticity. And on here, name of the album, talks about the Interscope Records Definitive Sound Series. It says this is limited to 3,000 copies. It talks about how this is from the master analog tapes and all that. And these are all numbered. This is interesting. I got a promo copy. So mine is 0000, which I thought was pretty cool. Here's the record. This record sleeve, super heavy cardboard, super heavy duty. There's the gatefold. There's the back. And it's a 2 LP set, as I said. I will show them to you. Comes in the anti-static inner sleeves. And beautiful vinyl. Beautiful. I'll quickly show it to you. It's kind of hard to tell on the screen sometimes. But it's a flawless pressing. No scuffs, no scratches. Perfectly flat. A beautifully pressed record. So listening to these 2 records, this record just sounded phenomenal, man. I was super impressed. I made some notes here when I was listening to it. Again, sourced from the original analog master tapes, a pressing plant. It was pressed at RTI, Record Technology Incorporated, limited number of 3,000 copies. But in terms of the sound, this was awesome. The pressing itself, dead silent, no surface noise, virtually no surface noise. Of all the records I've bought over the last number of years, there's always some surface noise. This is quiet. I found the music to be present, lively, and engaging, and like jumping out of the speakers. It was really an immersive experience, which was pretty cool. I said the sound was well balanced. You get that wide soundstage that really drew me in. And I gotta say, again, not as a super huge hip hop guy, but appreciative of the genre, this album was an exceptional listen and a great showcase for this series, man. So yes, this album sounds amazing. It delivers on its promise and serves as a reference pressing, but let's talk about the price. At $125, the latest pressing of The Chronic is not a casual purchase. However, you are getting what you pay for, which, as we know, is not always the case when it comes to records, vinyl, record collecting, and all that. They did this one right, and I look forward to seeing what else Interscope comes out with on this particular series, because they outdid themselves with this one, man. This is dynamite. I talked about this album a couple months ago. This is the latest release from Royal Republic out of Sweden called Love Cop. At the time, I still had not received my copy of the album. I'd ordered it from Europe, and there was delay getting over, but I finally got this. I figured I would show it to you. It comes on blue vinyl. There was no insert or anything like that. It was a pretty bare bones pressing, which is always kind of disappointing to see, considering how much vinyl costs nowadays. But this record itself sounds excellent. And Royal Republic, they're hard to describe. They're a little bit odd, a little bit quirky, but great musicians. And they blend like so many genres, like pop and disco and traditional rock and heavy metal. And they put it in this pot and stir it up. And they are a little quirky, but kind of in the way Queen was quirky or eccentric, where they combine all these influences and display them all. That's kind of what these guys do, and the music is so good. And this is, I've been listening to a lot of their stuff, and this one is one of my favorites, particularly the tracks. So many outstanding tracks on here. My House, Love Cop, Freak Show, Laser Love, so good. I learned about these guys because they came across on my YouTube feed as a recommended video, because they did this hilarious cover version of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, and they're all dressed up like black metal guys. They're running around singing like a rock version of Staying Alive. It's fantastic. If you haven't heard that, you gotta check it out. But yeah, man, this is one of my new, this is a band I've been listening to a lot lately. Royal Republic. All right, 33ers, I hope you dug today's video. Stay tuned for Sunday's episode, where I do part 2 of my England adventure. Until then, dear 33ers, keep on spinning.